In this video, we'll learn how to use the pivot tables in Microsoft Excel, which is a very powerful tool to summarize the data. Here I have a sales data from 3 countries. So first of all, I'm selecting the data and go to the insert button and click on the pivot table. Here I have already selected the data, so it is shown here as my selected data. Or I can do that again by selecting this, and here I have an option where I have to place this pivot table. Either I can choose new worksheet or existing worksheet. So I choose a new worksheet. So it created another worksheet called sheet 4 and it placed the pivot table. And you can see here we can have all the fields. So these are the headers in my data. So suppose I want to have the summary of the data. I have to drag and place these fields in one of these 4 quadrants. So first of all, I have a report filter, column labels, row labels, and sigma values or summation values. Here, suppose we want to place month in column wise, so I can get all the month information in columns. Or if I drag this month and place it in a row, I'll get a row labels as months. And I'll drag this sales amount into the summation values. So this is the only field I have with number formats. So in the summation values, we use the number format. Or otherwise, if we use the non-numbered values, it can give only the count. Will give only the count because it cannot sum up the text columns, text information. This is the sum of the sales in the month of January and the sum of the sales in the month of February and so on. I can format this so that it looks complete visible and clarity on the sales amount. Here, if I want to have the zone also in the column labels, so this is the breakdown of say January amount with zone wise, east, north, south, west. So the sum of these 4 sales amount gives the grand total. Here, instead of this, I can replace the locations of months and zones. So in this, I'll get a summary of the zone sales month-wise. Previously it was month-wise zone information, and here is the zone-wise month information. So now we'll go to the report filter. In the report filter, I have a month. Suppose I want to look for only particular month, I can select that month and go. So this will give the information of the sales in each zone in the month of January. Or I can select multiple items also. Suppose I want to go for month January, February and March. So this will give the sum of the sales amounts for the months January, February and March. So same thing we can have by dragging this into the column, and here we'll get the breakage each month also. So we have filters in the column labels as well as filters in the row labels. Suppose I want to look it only for the east zone, so I can select only east where I get the information, and I want for all the months for the east zone, so we get all the information. And now here I'll use the country in the report filter. So here I'll get another filter for the country, and here I have information about the 4 countries. Suppose I want to look only for the Germany, I can select Germany and click OK. So here I'll get the sales amount so in Germany, zone wise and month wise. Or if I can select all the things, now we get the complete information. So here I'll put it for month wise for all the countries, and here we can have different value field settings also. So here if I click on the count instead of the sum of the sales is by default. And if I want to go for count of the sales, then I'll get the number of line items in the January, number of line items in the February, and so on. Instead of that, I can go for average. So we shall give the average sales amount in the month of January, or can have a the maximum sales amount in the month of January, or minimum, and many other calculated values. So I'll take the sum. Suppose if I want to look at sum and average both for a particular month, so I can drag once again. So I got now 2 sales columns, both of the same sum, and one of them I'm changing it as average. So this gives a summary of average of sales amount and sum of the sales amount each month. And suppose if I want to have the salesperson's information also month wise, so here I have Angel is a salesperson and his month wise breakage. This is the grouping. So this is the complete information about the Angel, salesperson Angel. And if I click here this sign, and this will give the complete information of Angels. So I can do all these things. So ungroup, or I can group. So we can have many other options also. So group selection, we can do the grouping, and by clicking this plus sign, this will be ungrouped. So we can have this way also. So salesperson in the row labels, and month is on the column labels. So this gives the information that the salesperson Chase doesn't have any sales in the month of January. And we can have each month-wise sales. So for the month of January, so how much each salesperson has done the sales. Next for the February and so on. So we can have in this way also. So instead of going down, we can have just know the information of the salesperson's sale in each month. So this is a very powerful tool to give the summary of this information. So we can have other pivot options like display. So we can have a classic presentation. So here in the row labels I have, so that can be changed to the month and sales, some of the sales. So I can copy this and paste it some other location, and I can have a table format for this. So we have another option to include or exclude the grand totals. So we click here, click and go to the options, then go to the totalings. So if I exclude this and say OK, so the row totals will be disappearing. Or if I want only row totals and not the column totals, then I'll go again back this totals and filters, and I'll add grand totals for the rows and deselect the grand totals for the columns. So row totals will be present and grand totals for the columns will be absent. So here we can do both can be included, and we can also show the empty cells show something if any information is missing, like for a salesperson, this will be shown, empty cells will be shown. So we can avoid that also. Here I can also have a filter on a particular salesperson. Suppose I want to indicate for this engine, so I can get only the information of this particular salesperson, or I can select a group of people also. So pivot table is very useful to summarize the data, and we can have other options also like field setting, areas stacked, field setting, that was the default what I have taken now, field section and areas side by side, so this way, and only field sections, so this will be little congested one, and we will not get the column labels, row labels, other things. can have only the labels and one by one. So we have different options for the field sections and area sections. And here we can have the size. If you want to look at the size, you can drag it, automatically it will change. And we can move. So this is the information on the pivot tables. If you like the video, subscribe and look for some more videos on Microsoft Excel. Thank you.